Hello, McFatter Technical High School students and parents. This is Thursday, September 17th. I am Jeanette Johnson, your director and principal, coming to you once again for this week's updates. We hope you've had a great week. I have with me a few faces you're used to seeing every week, and yet again, a few new faces. So we'll dive right in. Let me first introduce you to who's here with us today. As usual, we have our assistant director in charge of the high school, Mr. Darrell Harris. Good morning, Mr. Harris. We have our magnet coordinator, Miss Lily DeCastro.
Hi.
Good morning, Miss DeCastro. And two new faces that you haven't seen before, who we'll be hearing from in just a few minutes. We have Mr. Alvin Ranzy. Hi, Mr. Ranzy. And we have Miss Karrah Fort. Good morning, Miss Fort. Hope everyone's doing great today. So we want to dive right in to give you some information, a few reminders, and some new information as well. So the first thing I wanted to do is make sure all of the parents are aware of September 22nd. We've talked about it in prior meetings, but we really want to be sure people are aware. There's been a lot of conversation in the community that you may have seen and heard recently about plans for Broward schools to start phasing back to on-campus instruction. No final decisions have been made, but September 22nd, next Tuesday, there's a board meeting where this will be the primary topic of conversation. And so we're all looking towards that board meeting for some decision-making about the next steps in on-campus return to instruction. As soon as the board gives those directions, as a school, we will of course push additional information out to all of you, so you know what that might look like and what to expect as you decide what approach you want to take for your own families. But we are encouraging anyone who can to either tune in to that board meeting on the 22nd or to look for reports of it afterwards in terms of the decisions that are made. Again, we'll follow up with you as soon as we have more direction from the board, but that's going to be an important conversation on Tuesday. So we wanted to remind you of that. We also wanted to remind you, now that interims have gone home, we may have a few more students looking at needing some additional academic support than perhaps we're looking at it a couple of weeks ago. So we want to have a reminder for you about academic support that's available to you. And for that, I turn it over to Ms. DeCastro.
Unmute myself. Hi, everybody. So first of all, if you did not find your interim report, it is in Virtual Counselor, which can be accessed through single sign-on. And Bria is also available there, Broward Remote Instructional Assistant. They're available Monday through Thursday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. for anything academic, language arts, math, science, and social studies. And every single student has a link on their Canvas account to the Bria. So you just go in and then you click the button to ask for help. You can come as long or go as quickly as you like, or be on there for an extended period of time in the evening. So it's a great resource for students. Definitely take time for that.
Perfect, thank you. And the link that's in Canvas, is it showing up like on their homepage when they log in, or where do they find it in there?
I've been told, because I don't have it myself, but I've been told that when you click on the Bria, I think it says Ask Bria, then there's something that says, you know, click here for a live tutoring session or something along that line. It's very clear. It's right on the front.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Then we also wanted to remind people about McFatter Homeroom, which is continuing to operate. And this week we have a special twist on it, especially for our freshmen. And for that also, I want to ask Ms. DeCastro to let everybody know what's going on with our McFatter Homeroom.
Absolutely. So this Friday morning before school, we will be having Freshman Friday. So if you'd like to meet some more people outside of class, whether they're in your class or in other classes, maybe you had some friends in middle school that you haven't had a chance to see that you'd like to see, this is the spot to go. And if you wish to go, you're going to email Mr. Amon, spelled JOHNATHAN.AMMANN at browardschools.com. Don't forget the S at the end of Broward Schools. And he will get you the Teams link for that meeting.
Perfect. So does that mean that homeroom this week is only for freshmen?
Others can go, but we really are encouraging the freshmen to be there. If you're a 10th, 11th, or 12th grader and you'd like to be there to support a freshman, you know, you can go as well. But definitely we really want the 9th graders to kind of get to know each other in a different way, since we didn't get to have our new student orientation in the traditional way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And along those lines, obviously, school is not just about the academics and the coursework. It is about being able to engage with your peers, get involved, make friends. And so we've been talking to you about the clubs that will be operating even in this virtual environment. And so we had an update for you this week. We've been telling you for a couple of weeks now that once we got the academics well underway, we were going to make sure our clubs started rolling out, because we do recognize what an important part of school that is for so many of our students. And so for a clubs update, I turn it over to Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. And also just want to just reiterate what Mrs. Johnson said a second ago. And yes, we have amazing curriculum at McFatter, and we want to have all of our students college and career ready. But the other part of it is that we have some amazing clubs and organizations at McFatter that we love for each of you to be part of. And when I say they're amazing, that means that they're thriving. Students are engaged, they're involved, and they really provide some extra reinforcement or support in social and emotional as well for our students. So we have over 30 different clubs, but I'm only going to mention a few. And some of those include our World Languages Club, and they also our Language Arts Club. And those clubs even have competition that's part of those clubs. We have our Student Government Association. We have a film club, which is also, they use anime as well. And we have a game club. So we have some amazing clubs and organizations. I hope you take advantage and become a part of at least one of those clubs. And those clubs, they will be posted next week on our school website. There will be a link that will be available with the date and the time of when those meetings will take place. So get involved, and those clubs will operate year round. I know we're in a virtual environment, but I've had a commitment from our sponsors that we will keep those clubs engaged. They will be exciting, and they will be interesting for our students to be involved in.
So the clubs, let me just make sure I understand. The clubs that are active now or will become active in the next week or so, that is the information that parents will be able to find on the website next week, parents and students. So those will be the clubs you can actually get involved in right now. And then later in the year, the potential rollout for additional clubs, either as we continue in virtual environment or as we move face to face. Is that correct?
And that is correct. And also, in addition to that, Ms. Johnson, we will have next, in the month of October, we will have a virtual club day. And that's when you'll get a chance to see all the clubs that we have that will be operating in this virtual environment. And students can join those clubs. They can meet the sponsors, find out some of the activities that those clubs do, the competitions. And we have some students a part of 3, 4, 5 different clubs, because there's lots of things to do at McFatter in addition to learning and being part of one of the top schools in Broward County.
Super. For those students who are not new to McFatter, they know that Club Day historically is a day where all the clubs have tables set up on our mall, and students can wander from table to learn about the clubs. So what Mr. Harris is referring to there is next month, October, which is really just 2 weeks away. In the month of October, we'll be having a virtual club day that is the equivalent of that. So students can explore and learn more just in order to decide which clubs they want to get involved in. And as Mr. Harris said, we really want everyone to get involved. Find at least one club that you want to get involved in. It's important for your own well-being. It's also something that the colleges want to see. They want to see you as more than simply an academic student. So make sure you look for those clubs and opportunities to get involved in more than just the classroom space. So thank you for that, Mr. Harris.
You are welcome.
Over the last couple of weeks, you've met some McFatter staff members who provide varying supports to our students and families above and beyond what the teachers provide. You've met the grade level counselors who work with certain groups of students on all aspects of their school experience. Last week, you met our advisor for our students with disabilities or special needs, and you met our race advisor who works with students on their post-secondary planning. So this week, we wanted to bring you 2 more people who, again, are not in place of any of those resources. We believe in multiple levels of support, multiple layers of support, and so that's who we have with us this week. So the first person I wanted to introduce you to is Mr. Alvin Ranzy, who has been with our staff for many, many years and has worn a number of hats. Currently, he wears 2 key hats for us. Those are as an academic support advisor and as our family counselor. So Mr. Ranzy, welcome.
Thank you.
And could you please tell the families and students a little bit about the kind of work that you do to support our students?
Well, basically, Ms. Johnson, what I try to do is take out some of the barriers and obstacles within the teaching learning process and in the educational process, and whether that's social, emotional, or academic.
And I've seen you at work, and so I know that begins with an individual student or an individual family reaching out to you, or perhaps a counselor referring a student to you. and then you work one-on-one with those individual students, right? And providing them whatever resources they might need.
That's correct.
Great.
That's correct.
And so if families are interested in connecting with you, or if students are interested in connecting with you to have some conversation about the kind of support you can provide, how do they contact you?
Well, there are two basic ways. One is through the grade level counselor, wherever your counselor is, or it could be Ms. Fort or administration. Actually, if they can reach out, but basically to the grade level counselor, and then email. And you can email me at alvin.ranzy@browardschools.com.
And spell that for us, please.
Alvin, ALVIN, period, Ranzy, RANZY, @browardschools.com.
Thank you. Emphasis on the N. Many people think Mr. Ramsey's name is Mr. Ramsey. It is not. It is Ranzy. And so I wanted to be clear that the families understood that a student may be referred to you by Ms. Fort or a grade level counselor, or a family or a student can reach out to you directly via the email. They don't have to wait to be referred. I wanted people to know that those services are available upon request. So
that's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsey. And then we have Ms. Fort, who is our school social worker, joining us this year. Good morning, Ms. Fort. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine.
Great. And could you tell our families a little bit about the work that you do to support students and families?
So I am your site-based school social worker, and my role is to assist administration pretty much as a partnership. I help parents, students, teachers as a support for students to reach their full potential. So what can I help with? I can help with crisis intervention. I can help with referring for mental health concerns. If we have grief and loss, I can support you through that and refer you to the appropriate person. I can give your family support. I can provide community resources, social emotional learning, teacher support, a support with attendance and truancy. So whatever it is, I'm your girl. I'm here to help support you.
Perfect. And so that our families are clear, because I think what families should be hearing from both Mr. Ramsey and Ms. Fort is that either one of you is available to support people across a spectrum of needs, not just academic, but also possibly social, emotional, family needs, et cetera, et cetera. But Ms. Fort, help the families understand what is the difference between the resources that you are involved with, the kind of support you give versus this kind of support that Mr. Ramsey gives. What's the difference there?
So as a school social worker, I am the bridge between the school, community, students, and the family. So what do I mean by that? If you need assistance with whatever, whether it's housing, food, I am that person that can help you get that resource, as opposed to a family counselor. The family counselor is just that, they counsel. So let's say you're having issues with a loss. You talk to me, I'd support you through that, but then I'd refer you to the person that could help you go even farther with therapy or counseling.
Perfect. So Mr. Ramsey provides many counseling and support services here on campus. And then what you do is help connect students and families to resources external to the campus if those resources are necessary, correct?
Right. If they're not available through the school, I can refer them to somewhere in the community for that resource or support.
Perfect. And then as with Mr. Ramsey, how do families or students get a hold of you if they need your assistance?
So right now you could get me through email. I'm also available through Teams call if you need me, but my email address is a long one. It's Karrah, which is Karrah, Sterling, that's my middle name, STERLING .Fort, FORT, @browardschools.com.
Great. And is there a dot between Karrah and Sterling or not?
There's a dot between Sterling and Fort. So Karrah, Sterling .Fort.
Perfect. Perfect. And of course, if any of families or students are trying to reach any of these people and you can't remember these email addresses, you can't find their information off our website, just reach out to an administrator or to Ms. DeCastro or your grade level counselor and we can put you in contact with them. So thank you so much for joining us today. Mr. Harris, Ms. DeCastro, did we miss anything we were going to go over today? I don't think so.
I think you covered it all.
I do want to remind parents, though, we did not talk about it, but to please check your Broward County Public Schools alerts, because a lot of really important information is coming out, and it's the best way for the district to get it to you. Like, they've added a Saturday meal pickup day. The information for the upcoming board meeting is on there. So please set those as an important thing on your email address.
Great point. Great point. There's so many different sources of information, both district and school based. So the more ways that parents are tapped into those communication tools, the better. So with that, I think we will wrap it up for this week. Mr. Harris, Mr. Castro, we made it through an entire meeting without me losing my lights. Yay! We've been losing them a lot lately. Anyway, families, we thank you so much again. Please make sure, if you're able, to tune into that board meeting on the 22nd. If not, pay attention to the alerts coming both from the district and from us. We will be back next week with an additional set of information, as well as follow-up details based upon the direction that's given at the board meeting. So with that, we're going to sign off for now. We hope you have a great week, a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.